Bonjour et bienvenue dans Passeport Diplomatique, votre émission qui vous invite à découvrir la diplomatie sous un autre jour. Une immersion au cœur des relations diplomatiques, des enjeux internationaux et du partage culturel. Cette semaine, nous sommes à l'ambassade de la Fédération de Russie à Maurice, où son Excellence, l'ambassadrice Irada Zeynalova, nous reçoit.
Is it okay?
Good morning, Madame Ambassador.
Morning, colleagues.
What would you highlight as the main achievements of Russian-Mauritian relations over the past year?
Well, actually, over past year, we have a lot. For example, we have, from my point of view, because I am the newcomer, and I was really uncomfortable with the new job I got, because I was reporter, and it's absolutely different way of life than the ambassador. So we started very intensively, I suppose. At least it looks like, and I suppose that we have achievements. It's not just making friends here, because we made friends here. It's not just a reminder that Russia has a long living story of relations with Mauritius. We started it in 5 days after the declaration of Mauritius independence. And my intention was to intensify it. Hopefully we did it. Because, for example, in March, we had the huge folklore ballet concert, Gzhel. In May, we had the bark, sailing bark, ancient, hundreds years almost, years old almost, Krusenstern. In June, we had Tatarstan opera. But I suppose that's of course it's cornerstones, but every week we make something like negotiations or events or meetings with Mauritians. Now, my best achievement, I suppose, is understanding of your soul, because as a reporter, I fully understand. Only when you understand the person, when you see his personality, when you see the motives, you can cooperate. Otherwise, you can be the most active ambassador in the world, but you don't understand what people need and what they are waiting for. You should be aware of every detail of Mauritian soul. And then you can make it together. It will be like the mixture, the cocktail of Russian soul and Mauritian soul. Believe me, they are more close than you can tell it.
Thank you very much. Recently, the Minister of Transport of Mauritius visited Moscow earlier this year. What concrete outcomes would you say emerged from that visit?
It was a brilliant opportunity for both countries to understand each other. Because you know that Mauritius, the size of island, is the precise size of Moscow within the transport circle. I mean the old territory of Moscow. And inside this circle we have 20 million people. And of course we have traffic jams. Of course we have the solutions for that. Of course we have different types of transportation. So when I first time met Minister, I understood that he is the person who wants to do something to solve the problem. He wants to make his legacy because, he has a heart pain about the traffic in Mauritius. Of course, as every country, you have problems because, people would like to move easily, comfortably. They don't want to think how they do it. And you have to think about hundreds, thousands of people who would like to travel simultaneously, easily, and of course free of charge. Everyone wants this. And Honorable Minister, he decided to go to International Transport Week in Moscow. He met there a lot of people from different countries, of course. But for me, the main point was that he met the Minister of Russian Transport and Minister of Moscow Transport. He saw two experiences, like the experience of the governing of the transport of the country and the huge megapolis. And now I suppose the best thing, the best outcome of that is understanding. Of course, he was impressed by our electrobuses, but Russia is far from here. And probably the hardware, the electrobuses by themselves, purchase is not the best idea. But at least we have the wheel from the other side. As means the doors for the passengers from the other side. It's not safe to go out of the bus when you take the Russian bus. But he decided, and he is considering the opportunity to share our experience of digital controlling, digital managing of transport. Because Russia is considered to be, even now, when the time is very hard, for the international relations, we are considered as the #1 country for social services in digital sphere. Means if you take our experience of digital management of transportation, it will solve a lot of problems. Of course, we go to Africa. We'd like to help nations to solve their problems. Of course, we know that Mauritius is a little bit, different Africa, but still would like to make life here easier. And of course, this management of transportation will solve a lot of problems. For example, when you get the emergency, you call emergency, and it should come. You have very narrow road, so somebody is waiting for this help, and this should be done within a minute, as we do it in Russia. Like if you call emergency, within less than 20 minutes, in every city, medical emergency should come. It means we have the special solutions for that. Together with like a transport police, together with transport ministry, together with Ministry of Health, it is solved. In Russia, that's what I tell to every minister I meet. We don't separate problems and like bring it to the certain ministry. No. We look the problem in complex. For example, recently I met with Sam Lautan, the advisor for anti-drug activity. And I told him that if you'd like to crash the system of drug trafficking, first, it's a global problem. You should be together with the big countries. Second, you have to look at it as a complex problem. Means you have first, of course, call police, call customs and special forces to stop the trafficking, but that's not enough. You have to go to the Ministry of Culture to distract people from drug use. You have to go to sports to show people the alternative life, which is absolutely against any drug use if you'd like to go to sports. You have to go to the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, and to the people who are in charge of family issues, because drug use starts from distress. Drug use starts when the family doesn't follow the children. If you don't have attention inside your family, you are looking for it somewhere else. Means people come to you and tell, take this, you'll be part of us. Means you have to do absolutely everything in complex with the different ministries and different advisors. It's not competitive. It's your job which should be done all together. This is the only way to crash the drug trafficking system. That's what I told. Same thing, for example, in Russia we have the problem of the healthy generation. What does it mean? Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Sports, police, and so on. Every minister should gather at the same points without any competition and do it, because we have the targets which can be achieved just all together.
Thank you. Pertaining to the conference on new energy sources that was held, what opportunities for cooperation in the energy sector do you see?
Well, actually, I see the great opportunity for Mauritius to be the most green island in the world, because here we offer to go the new way. Of course, Russia is exporter of gas and oil, biggest in the world, but we offer you not to bring the ships with gas and oil. Of course, it would be very profitable for Russia if we cooperate with the liquid gas, but we have another opportunity. The most up-to-date, which is done in many countries. You have to go, and it's considered European Union as a green energy. We offer you to bring the nuclear power ship floating, put it in front of the island, bring the cable. You need just one to fit all the country. It's safe, it's green, it's for a long time, and if you do this way, probably, well, if you don't want to cooperate with just one supplier, you can make the consortium, but you need the nuclear energy here, because it's not the power station, I mean the nuclear station inside the island. No, it's floating, which is done like by Turkey, by Russia, by different countries. That means that you will not burn the diesel or the coal. You have the fresh air, safe environment. It looks like the island will be the green energy point. That's it. Because the main point of Mauritius, except the beautiful people and beautiful weather, is the environment which you keep, and you have to keep it. If you destroy it, well, you will lose the island. That's why I would like to cooperate in this sphere. That's why we invited Mauritians to cooperate in this area. If we start this, if at least considering, we change the minds. Like, if we have green energy, we can bring it. That's what I told to Minister of Transport. If you have enough energy, electricity will not be as expensive as it is. Means further you can bring electrobuses, which you can promote, and electric vehicles, I mean electric cars, which you can promote the idea itself only by promoting the free charging everywhere. You can promote free charging everywhere if you can afford this, if you have cheap energy. Means your air will be as fresh as it used to be.
Beyond the energy sector, which areas of the Mauritian economy would you say hold the most potential for stronger bilateral collaboration?
Oh, all of them. You know, we are Russia. We have everything. We already have discussed with the Honorable Minister Bulel the export of food, because the food security is like a part of sovereignty. Means we offered him to diversify the suppliers of food products here. We offered meats and fish and cheese, I mean the dairy, and grain. And we think that we'll move this process from the zero. Of course, when you talk to Russians, everyone asks us, do you have vodka and caviar? Yes, we have vodka and caviar, but you cannot eat it every day. Means you'd better bring the modern type of agriculture, the modern technologies of agriculture, because you cannot, when I came here, I will return a little bit to the first question. When I came here, I told ministers, Russia cherishes its sovereignty. But sovereignty doesn't mean just the borders, just the geography, and so on. Sovereignty means food security, pharmaceutical security, educational security, security. You should have your own, because that means the sovereignty. And that's why I offer you, I told the ministers, start from the first one, food security. If you get the new technologies, how even here, even with very poor soil, with very limited area, if you have here the most modern technologies, how to grow up the chicken, the vegetables, if you have your own basins for your cattle, if you have your own banks, seed bank, means you would be independent, fully independent. And we feel it in Russia. When we get the sanctions, you know this, well, the hurricane of sanctions in 2022, we at that time, we felt like we have the holes in the system. Not enough eggs, not enough potatoes. And we asked by ourselves, why? We are the biggest country in the world. We have Arctica and subtropical climates, means all the range of climates. Why we depend on the supply? Of course, we felt it even before in 2000s, but we thought it's like okay, we'll sell our gas and oil, we'll buy everything. No, sometimes you need to have something done by yourself. And we did it within these 3 years. We did it. We are not depending on the supply, absolutely. Same thing with Mauritius. One day, you should ask yourself, of course, we are very good in tourism. We have ocean, we have tropics, but why we don't have our own, for example, I don't know, the potatoes. Like, probably you have, but. And this is the way, of course, every country should take part in the international trade. But if you don't have backup, one day it will be leveraged against you. Every country can get this situation. That means that we offer you agricultural independence. Next one is pharmaceutical health. Next one is like an independence of fishing. You should control, and that's what I offer you to gain. Technologies and information are the most valuable things in the modern world. Means in Mauritius you have a very high level of human capital, of human development. Almost everyone is literate. Means you can do it. You can start. You can promote it for you. Well, people, let's do everything by ourselves. Let's do it together. And of course, we'll help you with the technologies, with the information, with the expert, with the educations. Because, for example, from the first day of Mauritius, your doctors, your teachers, your architects, your constructors, engineers studied in Russian University of People's Friendship named by Patrice Lumumba. That's a special institution where all the African nations can get up-to-date education in the areas where they need them. For example, when colonial governor left Congo, when British left Congo, when British left Kenya, it was not Congo, it was Kenya. And when Kenya got independence, they had just 14 educated people with a high education, or compared to high, to control the country. Means they had to grow up very fast people who could teach, heal, construct, and everything. Every nation needs its own allies. I mean, not allies from the point of wealth of view, allied from the intellectual point of view. its own poets, writers, architects, teachers, doctors, and so on.
You spoke about poets. Cultural and educational exchanges have also been quite active this year. Do you think they contribute to the ties between Russia and Mauritius, and how so?
We are contributing in these ties. For example, look, this is the picture of Dodo. The only image of Dodo which is painted from a live bird. We keep it in Russia, in St. Petersburg Institution of Oriental Text, Oriental documents. Because Russia is, well, we consider us by ourselves as a country who keep and secure all the knowledges from all the humanity. We keep it. Our diplomats bought it in the beginning of 20th century for one of Russian tsars. And still we keep it. It's like 17th century image. And for example, I would like to remind about this, to remind that if you just use and don't secure, you lose something. Like colonial Dutch, they ate all dodos. Like it's a bird which doesn't exist anymore. And I will bring the Russian young painters to paint their view on Dodo from St. Petersburg, how they feel Dodo. I will make exhibition of one picture, this one, that's the authorized copy, and those young painters who will show how close we are still, despite the ocean. Because ocean is not the border which divides. Ocean is the link for us, the path through the history. We're trying to make here the monument for the Russian sailors who buried here. It was 1857. First time Russian ship came to Mauritius, and six persons were buried here because of the epidemic on the island. Means we have more common than we think about this. We have our joint history. And for example, I have a target, for example, to bring the gifts, the presents, to every museum of Mauritius, which will be on the exposition, which is related to the history between Russia and Mauritius. Because, for example, at the beginning of the year, it was my first idea when I came here. I even didn't know what Mauritius is, but I knew that 2025 is the 50th anniversary of Gervais cyclone, when Soviet sailors came to rescue the island, when they restored all the electricity and so on. And they made it because, well, it was international help. It was first operation in rescue operation in Africa. And they made it here. We found the photos. We checked through all the countries and even the republics of former Soviet Union to find those sailors, to make the interviews, to make the movie about this, and we made a gift to the island. It was even broadcasted by your television. We made this screening in the Trianon, and we made the photo exhibition from those sailors who kept those images for whole life. And those images and those photos we bring to all the museums of Mauritius, just to remind that Gervais, of course you have the cyclone season here. Of course it's annually, but at that time it would be a really hard time for Mauritians if nobody would come through nobody would cross the ocean to help. means we can be only together. We can survive only if we are together. And that's the main point, my main point here. Just to remind that you are not alone in the middle of the Indian Ocean. We are all together historically. We have the intentions to be friends. And I hope that it's the two-way road.
Along the same line, it is quite well known that Russia has a long and rich cultural diplomacy. Are there any events being planned in Mauritius in the month ahead?
For example, 10th of October, it will be like, I suppose it will be over when your article will be published, but 10th of October is the big concert in Kaudan, Russian cultural music. Very famous classic musicians would come to make it. And 8th or 11th of November it will be the ballet dance concert from Tatarstan. The ballet dancers, and you know that Russia is famous for the ballet, classic ballet, would come to do it here. In December, the Dodo exhibition. Hopefully in January, we'll have one more classical concert for the Christmas time. In February, hopefully we are going to make the huge event for the maritime, all these sailors and so on. And hopefully we'll bring one more sailing bark, historical, ancients, here to show that we keep the traditions, that we keep the history. And someone doesn't know, but every week we have the exhibition here in Cultural Center. And we make the screenings of the newest Russian movies in Trianon. And everything is free of charge. You can go for free to see the Russian movies, classical one or newest one with English or French subtitles. You can go to Kaudan to see our famous classic music players and ballet dancers. It's free of charge because we're sure it's not like we'd like to invade to your hearts and brains. No, we're not Americans. We'd like to. I fully understand, I feel it here, that without this understanding that you are the part of global culture, nation cannot develop. That's why we'd like to do everything, absolutely everything, to include Mauritians in this intellectual sphere. Because I see here huge potential. I've been to the Blue Penny Museum. Brilliant. I've been to Museum of Mauritius, to Meyerburg Museum. You have brilliant museums. Means you have the intention. Means we should give the opportunity to develop it. And for me it's funny. I always was living with an active life, so I'd like to be active here as well.
What's your favorite place in Mauritius?
My favorite place in Mauritius is Port Louis. You will be surprised. Everyone goes to the beaches, but I go to the embankment of Port Louis, sit there in the evening with coffee, and look at the ships parked there, embarked there, and the lights and people. And the only thing which is, every time I think, why do you close everything so early? Why everything is closed? I feel sometimes as a tourist who doesn't have a place to go. And I have the idea to convince your Lord Mayor, who is a brilliant guy. Probably we are going to make Port Louis and St. Petersburg the twin cities. If we do it, of course, we start a huge cooperation with the museums of St. Petersburg, like Hermitage, which are famous in the world. Probably we'll bring them here, with their exhibitions. But you have huge potential of the center of Port Louis. When you go behind the old mill, there is a quarter where you can make the galleries, the clubs, the small museums and exhibition of something modern. If we do this way, we make Port Louis the center of cultural life. Also, I have an idea one day to make Mauritius as the only place in Indian Ocean where you can look at Bolshoi theater. Means it's like a complex. If you bring Bolshoi theater here, everyone goes to watch it. But all the tourists from neighbor countries also would love to come to see Bolshoi theater. Means it will raise your tourist numbers. Means it will raise your consumption of the souvenirs, rum, hotels, everything. If you become the center of the cultural life in Indian Ocean, it will help the countries. Also, my idea was, and we still work on it, and we have even some success in this way, to make Port Louis as like a center with a microplastic research laboratory. I mean the center where is the laboratory which research how to struggle with oceanic microplastic. And probably to make it like the main international laboratory which gives the certificates. Do you follow the principles of blue economy or not? It's like in Paris, you have the chamber of measures, and you know probably. In Paris, you have the special chamber where the ideal meter and ideal kilo are, like the chamber of measures and weights. You can make the same laboratory here, but on the other level, with the laboratory who makes the certificates for blue economy and microplastic pollution level from your country and from your industry. If we promote this, if we succeed with this idea, Port Louis will be the scientific center for blue economy for all the world. Well, hopefully we'll do it together.
Many of the embassy's initiatives were made possible with local support. How important is this partnership for you?
Well, I'm the person of target. If I told you about my targets, I told about my initiatives. If I do all of them, well, I suppose that I didn't live for nothing. If I do at least half of them, means I made the field for the next ambassador. I don't know whether he will be or she grateful for that, but still. But for me, it's really important to do something because if you make relations with someone, you should understand for what you do this. You should have the sense of every day. If you don't have sense, means, well, you don't work. You just came to the beautiful country with the beautiful beaches, with the beautiful ocean, and just you swim there. No, I'm not that kind of person. If I came here, I would like to make my legacy as well. I should show people, I should convince people and explain them why I'm here, for what they should have relations with Russia. Means every day I explain Mauritians why we are here, why it is so important for us to be here. Not because of the military base or because of the political influence. No, we are here because we'd like to be friends with every independent nation. If you can promote it, you should do it. If you can't, tell honestly. I suppose that still I have chance to explain Mauritians that we'd like to make this friendship more fruitful for both countries. Well, of course you understand that as Russia, we have everything. We survive without any country. But person, even if he can survive. He cannot live without friends. He cannot live without this emotional exchange. He cannot live without visiting friends, celebrating something together, even if he doesn't need everything from him. Same thing with Russia. We'd like to have friends, we help them, we promote this friendship, we cherish every independent nation because we are anti-colonial. We are as multi-religious as you are, as multicultural as you are, multinational. We are all different. We are not Creoles, but we call it Russians, which is like a mixture of bloods. Means we are close to each other. We understand what do you think, and would like you to understand what we think. That's it.
Thank you very much, Madam Ambassador, for your time and great exchange.
Thank you so much for this interview.